Hey, welcome there, Founding Champions. It's Scott here with Founding Champions, and we're going to do a new video today, a new type of video. We're going to look at some deck lists that are not mine, and I'm going to give you some of my 2 cents about them. So without further ado, some new news here on the Warhammer main page. For news, Warhammer World Weekender, top 8 deck lists. So if you didn't know, there were 2 tournaments this weekend, or last weekend really, and there were 2 different constructed tournaments, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. So we're going to go over that. So Warhammer World Weekender. Over the weekend, players around the UK all came down to Warhammer World to challenge one another for the chance to become the winner of their respective constructed tournament. Today we get to show you their respective decks, including champions, blessings, and sideboard. Congratulations to all our champions. So the Saturday top 8, if you didn't know, was won by destruction. I know, that's no surprise. It's won by a Gordrak destruction of all kinds. First place, Will Hall. I think a lot of you may be familiar with him. Destruction champions. Now, what you're going to see, there's 5 champions listed here. Orc Boss, War Boss Recruiter, Gordrak, Savage Boar Boss, and Rip Tooth Mega Boss. There's 5 because during the deployment phase, you will deploy 4 of the 5, and you can't go over 30. So if you weren't there or you don't know exactly what they played, you sort of have to guess at what of the 5 they played. And it's possible in the, somewhere in that match you could have played a different mix of stuff. Now they use the old rules. They didn't use the rules that is the experimental rules in the app. If you don't know what those rules are, just look at the just hit the back button here and then look at those, those news articles. So Orc Boss, it's a 1 cost. Recruiter's a 5. Gordrak's a 12. Savage Boar Boss and Riptooth Mega Boss. It's likely that he just played these top 4. That is the most popular version of this deck. And I think that's probably what he stuck with for most of the time. It's possible that he put the Riptooth in and took out the Recruiter. Very possible in some cases. Next up, he has the Blessings. He has 4 blessings here. Renewed Warlust, gain 4 life and draw 2 cards basically. Cruising for a Bruising, Ushering the Wall, and Smash and Bash. Unfortunately, you can't hover over and see a deck list. I know if you're a Magic player or such, you're very used to that, especially if you're on like TCG Player. This is not on TCG Player, but there are Magic decks there. And if you hover over, you get to see a picture in the effect. So you kind of need to know what these do, and it would take me too long to go through here and look up what each of these cards did for you. So you kind of if you're a new player, this is going to be really hard for you to follow along on. But if you know what all these cards do, then this is more of a video for you. These are he does not deviate. These are all the standard blessings. Action cards. He's got attack form. He's got 1 Grot Ambush. A lot of players play 2 Grot Ambush, but I have done this myself. I've gone to 2 Grot Ambush. I've gone to 2 attack forms. It just depends. I think against an unknown field, this is definitely a fine pick of cards. 3 Mosh Pit. That's a damage ability. 3 Rallying Cry. I prefer 2 Rallying Cry. I did a lot of playing with 3 Rallying Cry. I feel like you always want the Rallying Cry, but then when you get a second one, you're just like, maybe first one early in the game in the first turn, second one many turns later. That's kind of how I want to draw Rallying Cry. I don't want a dead Rallying Cry in my hand. 3 Deadly Chops, 3 Pouncing Wolf Riders, 1 Sweeping Gore Grunta. That's the removal unit. 2 Big Stabber Crew, 2 Watchanter, very, very standard for both of these. Some players play 3 Big Stabbers. I personally play 2 Big Stabbers. And then he's got 2 Watchanters. That's how much I play. 3 Brute Smashes. Then he's got 3 Orc Scrapers, 2 Shield Bashers, and 3 Gore Chopper Brute. I don't know why there's a space between these cards. I don't know why they're separate. Because his sideboard is right below. So let's see his main deck's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 29, 30. Okay, so he's got 30 cards in the main. And then his sideboard. Sideboard is a maximum of 9 cards. 3 Trampling Grunta. That's the one where that turns off that lane, basically makes units dormant. Another Bashers, a Walk Hall, that Sect Tack formation, 2 more Swooping Gore Gruntas, and then a Might of Gork. Usually the Trampling Grunta, let's see. 2 Brute Smashes. I'm going to double check that Trampling Grunta. Because usually we play like 2 Trampling Gruntas in the main. I guess he only decided to run 3 in the sideboard, which that is definitely new. That's Frenzy Warboar. Now he played Trampling Grunta in the side. I like to play a couple in the main deck. It helps me rotate the Savage Boar Boss a little quicker. So it looks like he wanted to go for Gourd Choppa Brute versus going over like so Gourd Choppa Brute does that extra damage, and then it here he is right here. So it's 5 damage instead of 4, and this potentially has Rend. So that's a very interesting pick that I was not expecting, to be running 3 of these and then running the Trample in the side. The rest of these filler cards, I'm sure he's put them against some people. Sweeping Gore Grunt is good against order decks. Sometimes. Yeah. It's just the main deck is just so good. Like, there's not too many times we're going to be, I got to have that extra Walk Hall. Got to have it. I got to have that extra attack form. Maybe against, def decks you might want, attack form to move out the way of removal. All right. Well, that's enough about the first place list. It's pretty average. The biggest change that is surprising to me is really that Trampling Grunta in the side, all 3 copies, and have none in the main. That's the pretty much only surprising thing I've seen. Everything else is pretty average. Numbers very similar to what a lot of people are playing, to what I'm playing. Next up, we have Death. We have Abhorrent Ghoul King. 2 Crypt Hunter Courtiers. That's the one that gains life when you're at 5 or less. A Varagolf Courtier and a Crypt Infernal Courtier. So let's go to Champions. So there's the 2 ones he's playing. He's definitely almost always playing 2 of these guys. Crypt Infernal Courtier. This card is he only plays this when he's going against other Death decks. So if your opponent plays Death, you're going to want to play Crypt Infernal Courtier because you don't want to get yourself decked out. You don't want to deck out. And that's what other decks are trying to do. They're trying to wait till you deck yourself out. And then the other card, he has one of these. When a highlighted champion deploys a spell, gain 1 health. So this is also another card you might want against like maybe a Def deck. Obviously, I don't know. I don't like it very much. Maybe he just kind of put it in his filler. I think what his main deck is Crypt Infernal, Abhorrent, 2 Crypt Hunter Courtiers. And he's got this guy for something specific, I'm assuming. Maybe against burn type decks or whatever, but I don't know. It comes with a -2. I'm not a big fan of it. I would like to see what he's trying to pull that in against. Maybe against other Death Mirrors. I don't know. Let's see. And then let's see. Luke. Luke also got 2nd place on Sunday. We're going to go over Sunday. And we're only going over the top 4. I'm going to go very quickly over the top 8. Next up is Carrion Feast, Cloak of Mist and Shadows, which is the +2 to ability damages and allows you to start moving your champions around and gains that action back. Orb of Immortality, and then the Royal Hunt. Fearsome Crypt Flare ×3, Feasting Vargeist, Crypt Horror, 2 Ravenous Crypt Ghouls, 2 Unhallowed Mortis Engine, 2 Arcane Bolts, 3 Frightful Touch, 3 Devour, Curse Strike, Frightful Strike, and then Opportunity Strike. So he's got the full 9 burns abilities, the full suite. This is this is more of a burn type death deck versus a control type death deck. And instead of running double Abhorrent Ghoul King, he's only running 1. This is a very Will Hall-esque type deck. I've been not impressed by this deck. Now it did show a 2nd place finish, so it is a good deck. Apparently a good pilot. He got 2nd place twice. I've just not been a very big fan of the burn deck, but then not also being burned because it doesn't have 2 important Gold Kings. I prefer having 2 of those. Because, he's got Unhallowed Mortis Engine to do extra damage off of his Arcane Bolts and Frightful Touches. So he's definitely that kind of burn style death deck. More burn, essentially. But I don't know. I don't really like that kind of version very much, in my opinion. Next up, sideboard. 2 Scrying Pools, 3 Frenzied Vargeist, Ravenous Crypt Ghoul, the other copy, Unhallowed Mortis Engine, Cursed Altar, Supernatural Horror. I am very surprised the Supernatural Horror is not in the main. I'm guessing that everything that he plays does damage. Carrion Feast does damage. Cloak and Mist and Shadows does damage. The Royal Hunt does damage. Orb Entirely doesn't do damage, but it's also just the most insane card to pair up with 2 Crypt Hunter Courtiers. So, next up is Ben Kelly with another Gordrakk deck. It's just another Gordrakk deck. Nothing too crazy. He's got a Cowardly Grots on the side. It's just your average stuff. We're not going to really go over that. Ross Mason, it's a secret. I don't know if that's his choice to put that down, or maybe they didn't put it down. Ross, I don't know, but I don't know why they wouldn't show his deck. I mean, it's not like you're a special snowflake. Okay, you want to keep it a secret. Yeah. Obviously, you got 4th, and you didn't get top 4 in the next day. I don't think you even made top 8 in the next day. So, whatever, dude. And the next up, we got more Gordrakk. Then we have the Chaos. What is it? Turbo Rotation. Let's see. Order Champions and 8th. Then we have an Order deck in 8th. Looks like it is a what do you call that? The mix Order deck. Basically the Zoo deck, the Order Zoo. Not a very popular archetype. Next up in top 8, in the Sunday top 8, Will Hall decided to play Order, and I believe he missed the cut. So there was a cut to top 4 on this day because there wasn't enough players. So he missed the cut, but he bubbled right out. This is his Order deck. Next is Hamish with Chaos, another Chaos, and then Chaos. So a lot of Chaos turbo rotation. But in the top 4, we have another Gordrakk. I don't know what to say. It just looks pretty average. I don't see anything insane. He's got a Banner Carrier, which is pretty nice. Meat Shield Grots in the main. Pretty average stuff, really. Third place, Destruction Champions, Riptooth Megaboss, Orcloud. So it's got the Cunning Grot, thing. Let's see if he's main decking any. Yeah, so he's doing the Cunning Grot part. But I'm sure on his 4th lane is where he got killed. It protects you out of 3 lanes, but if you got a low health total, they'll just kill you in the other lane that's not protecting. I've not been a big fan of this. I have tested it, and I know about it. It's just I'm not that big of a fan of that list. But it does look pretty standard for that type of list, though. I don't see anything interesting. And for the players that really know much about the meta, I mean, honestly, you don't want me to go into depth about something that you've already seen and know about. Luke, he got second again. It doesn't look like there's too many changes. Looks like he made a few changes, obviously, especially to the sideboard. He's put a Mystic Shield in. Hollowed Mortis Engine is down to 1. He definitely wanted to change up his deck. Supernatural Horror is in the main now. Cloak and Mist Shadow still there. He took out the Carrion Feast. And again, we have Gordrakk making first. So this video's gone about 15 minutes. Got my thoughts. Obviously, guys, there isn't really too much. It's just what you've seen. If you're a new player, it's hard for you to keep up with because you don't know. You haven't memorized what all these cards do. If you're a veteran player, it's just more of the same. It really is. So hopefully things shake up in the next set. And guys, I do want to thank you for watching. And I think another reason why people haven't gone crazy over these lists is that it's just no one's really surprised much. I don't think it's because no one's seen it. I think no one's surprised. So guys, thank you for watching.